What's going on, traders? Got a lot to talk about. You're not going to want to miss this. Probably be my last video of the week. It is Thanksgiving week, and I want to take some time off. And I encourage you to do the same if you just so happen to be a trader. But regardless, enjoy your week. I will definitely see you guys next week after this video. Discord members will still get updates, will still get my trades, and so on and so forth. So if you want access to that Discord, link is in the description below. But let's get straight into it. So right now we're looking at the triple Qs 4 hour time frame. And we talked about this in the last video, this bear flag. We have our flagpole here, and then we have our actual flag here. And not only did we retest that level that we talked about last video, that 510, 508 range, which I urged you guys to really be cautious around, but not only did we retest that, but we rejected that area. We rejected the top of the bear flag, and we pretty much broke back below the rising wedge pattern on the daily time frame. So we go down to we go up to our daily time frame, right? And we zoom out, and as you guys can see, we have us a nice clean rising wedge pattern. And right now we're pretty much just bear flagging and pretty much just grinding the bottom of this rising wedge. Now how long this lasts is really up in the air, but I do imagine that Wednesday's news, GDP news, and FOMC meeting will probably play a huge effect on whether this actually plays out or not. Now, what do we know about patterns? They're not yet confirmed until we break below. And so far, this rising wedge is being confirmed. We broke below it twice, so it's really hard for me to imagine that we just break back in here and continue to see more upside as high as about 530, which will be pretty much at the top of this rising wedge all over again. So things are not looking too good for the Bulls. It's not looking too bad either, but I just wouldn't be bullish in this area in regards to the triple Qs and even big tech. Okay. So definitely be careful between 510 and 508. Now, we could just continue to grind this area here until whatever happens. Maybe Wednesday news makes it happen. Maybe we just continue to consolidate the rest of the week. That's pretty normal on holiday weeks, very low volume type of weeks, and we can just continue to do this until whatever news comes in or whatever. Okay, maybe Jerome Powell comes and tanks the market, Trump, who knows? Okay, so definitely be careful around this area. I would not be looking to be bullish here, but it's not a recommendation. Do what you want with the information. All right. So right now, let's go to the SPY. And so same thing with the SPY. I told you guys at 600, and I mean clean rejection, right? Very clean rejection. I told you guys at 600, just like we talked about in the triple Qs with the 510 and 508 level, 600 is a level that you want to be careful around. Now, again, we can just pretty much grind up here and just constantly consolidate around the 600. And we can possibly even go higher towards 605. We did say that is a possibility in our last video, right? And so we go to our daily time frame, and we still have a decent amount of space to the upside. Just right now, we need to clear this 600 level if we're looking to be bullish. But for now, if we're talking about being bearish, we could be heading back down towards these gaps at around 595 and clear out this area at around between 592 and 580. No, not 580, 592 and 590. Sorry. And so those are the levels that I'm looking at in regards to the downside. But if we just so happen to break above 600 and actually hold, we can head as high as about 605, between 605 606. So that's what I would be looking at in regards to the SPY. A move like this, where we just do something like this, probably break, retest, at around 600, 599, give or take, and just continue to head higher. That is a possibility. Am I counting on it? Not quite yet, but we'll have to see how things play out for the rest of the week. And so we zoom out, and as you guys can see, if you're new to the YouTube channel, we've been trading within this daily channel, this rising channel for quite some time. So if we are going to head higher, I do imagine that 605, between 605, 606, 607, somewhere around that range, we see some type of topping process before breaking down. Now, if this is the actual top here at around 600, then we can really start clearing out these areas to the downside. And the main area that I would like to see get cleared out is this level all the way at 577. There's like two gaps here simultaneously. Let me actually mark it for you guys. But there's two gaps right here, just back to back, that ended up forming a island reversal pattern. So you have a gap here, and you have another gap here as well. So if we just so happen to break below 585, I would say 584 just to really be safe, we can head as low as about 577. So I do imagine that move is going to happen sometime in the near future, especially before an actual Santa rally. If we just so happen to get that this year, I mean, we pretty much have been having a Santa rally all year. So it's really hard for me to imagine that we just continue that type of move into December. We'll see. All right. But that's what I'm looking at in regards to the SPY. So let's look at the Nasdaq. So NQ, I mean, it's essentially the same thing we've been talking about in regards to the triple Qs. You see it here. We go down to the 4 hour time frame, and again, we're looking at a bear flag, right? We're just continuously grinding up, and we ended up rejecting that 21K. I believe we talked about this in the last video. And remember, I was telling you guys about this area right here, right, where these wicks are constantly bouncing off this support now resistance, right? And so we headed back up here, and then we rejected, and we wicked from up here, and so if we head back up here and we just continuously fail to break above 21,000 050, we'll say 21,100 just to really be safe, then we can see a massive rejection back towards the downside and actually see this bear flag start to play out, especially if we break below it. All right. So I will watch 20,700 for a break. We break below that, then that will pretty much confirm that this bear flag is going to play out. And we can be looking at some massive downside. It's also important to note I don't have the indicators up, but you're more than welcome to find an indicator that you like, fair value gaps. There's no fair value gaps to the upside on any time frames in regards to the NQ. They're all to the downside at this point. So we pretty much mitigated all the fair value gaps to the upside. All right. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to take my word for it. Feel free to check it out yourself. I could be wrong, but looking at the hourly time frame and up, you don't have any fair value gaps to the upside. They're all to the downside. So at some point in time, we're going to want to mitigate that downside and really clear out a lot of these gaps towards the downside. So we look at the ES, and again, ES, same thing, right? We go to the daily time frame and we zoom out, and I told you guys about this trend, right? Let's actually get a better look here. And so I told you guys about this trend right here, right? Where we bounced here, right? And then we did our little, dance around this area here. And then we ended up retesting the trend and we are currently rejecting it. Now, we haven't seen any like massive downside, at least in my opinion. I don't think this is any downside to be really worried about. But we right here, we pretty much hit the trend and we just pretty much just dojied off of it, right? And so there is, again, we could be looking at one of these situations, and it could be really annoying, but we could be looking at one of these situations where we're just doing this. And that can be really annoying until we get whatever news. Okay. So again, I would really think I would think that Wednesday news could motivate a downside in the market. So tomorrow we could see some more upside. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. Where we could see a little bit more upside tomorrow, probably, grind out some more upside, pretty much milk a lot of bears out of their position before we see some actual downwards movement. Now, again, there is a possibility that we do see 605 on the SPY. Now, any further than that, I really can't see. We'll have to just, wait it out and get some type of confirmation from there. So this is what I'm pretty much looking at for now in regards to the ES and everything else. I don't really see any potential for upside, but that can easily change. Maybe tomorrow some type of news comes in. Maybe we get news Wednesday, or we actually do get news Wednesday, and that changes things. But right now, it's looking really sketchy for downside here. So we'll see. All right. Let's talk about Bitcoin. So I forgot to mention this in the Discord, but Bitcoin is breaking below this channel right here. I mean, it's just breaking down. So right now, I do have a target of 89K. Now, Bitcoin is leaving. I don't like the way Bitcoin is breaking down because it's leaving a void right here. So I do imagine that at some point. Okay, and it doesn't have to happen right away, but we will end up retesting about 96K before we see a further breakdown. So again, I wouldn't be surprised we see some upside tomorrow, because I do see a lot of stocks are pretty much oversold on the smaller time frames. So we could be looking at some upside tomorrow, but I think that upside is just simply a retest before a further breakdown. And another thing is, if you're considering Bitcoin to be a leading indicator, this could be a sign that the market is looking at a drop inbound. Okay, so definitely be careful, right? I said in the Discord today that as long as we stay below this trend right here, which is this white line right here, Bitcoin can easily break down and we can start heading towards 89K, between 90K, 89K. Any further to that would be a little scary, but we'll have to wait and see. But again, Bitcoin is pretty much breaking down, guys. Definitely would not be looking to trade this thing to the upside. We got close. We got really close to 100K. I mean, we were pretty much right there, but That's a very strong psych level, so I'm not surprised we didn't break through it right away. Very, very strong level to break through. You really need some amazing news for that to happen. I don't think Trump being elected was enough, but we'll see. Other than that, that's really all I have in regards to Bitcoin. IWM. So IWM, we go to the daily time frame, and IWM is trading. First off, IWM is just really, really hideous. I think this thing trades so hideous. All right, I mean, you see it right here. Channel, you rejected here, rejected here. You broke out here, you broke below, you broke. It's just doing all types of stuff, right? And right now we're within this rising channel, not to be confused with a bear flag. A bear flag actually has a flagpole, right? And so right now we hit the top of this channel all over again on IWM, which is the Russell, right? And so we hit the top of this channel, and so far we're rejecting, and then we have us a reversal hammer pattern right here on the daily time frame. Now, again, um, I don't bearish patterns don't have to play out right away. Reversal patterns don't have to play out right away. I showed you guys this plenty of times on this channel. We can easily do one of these moves where IWM or Russell just pretty much grinds this out a little bit more, and then we get whatever news Wednesday or maybe some other time, and then we start actually seeing a real breakdown, right? So at some point in time, I do imagine that IWM is going to want to play this out. It's important to note that there is a fair value gap all the way at 224 that needs to be mitigated. And there's also a gap right here as well. So at some point in time, I do think IWM is going to want to revisit that area. If IWM just so happens to head higher, there is potential for a move as high as about 248, 247, but from there I just can't see it heading higher. If it does just so happen to go that high, I will watch for a rollover back into this channel. I do imagine that can happen, and then from there I will definitely look to load up puts, if not already in some. So that's what I'm looking at in regards to the Russell. All right, so let's look at Nvidia. So I've warned about this in the Discord. Nvidia is pretty oversold right now. I will say that much. So again, this is why I think there is potential for a bounce tomorrow. It's pretty oversold on smaller time frames. It's not oversold on bigger time frames. I don't think. I could be wrong there. But as you guys can see, we broke this trend, and right now we're below a fair value gap. So I do think Nvidia is going to head towards 132, between 132 and 130 range. I wouldn't be surprised if retest 140 one more time. 140, 139 one more time. Highest it could potentially go is about 142, 141 before we see another breakdown. So I do. So if it does go higher, I would take it with a grain of salt. If it goes higher from this point, let me make that clear. If it goes higher from this point, if we start seeing bullish movement at open tomorrow, I would take it with a grain of salt and just really be cautious because this could set up for a bull trap. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at in regards to Nvidia. Look for that move towards 132, 130. I don't think it can go much lower than that, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's talk about SMH. So it's important to note that I say this all the time. SMH, Nvidia's is SMH's number one holding, right? And so right now we are breaking below this rising wedge, and I mean it's a huge rising wedge pattern, right? Very huge. The projected move is like all the way at the high 100s. I don't know if SMH is going to go that low. But this is a pretty big pattern and a pretty big projected move. I will say that much. So just really be careful here. But as you guys can see, SMH tried to break back in the rising wedge at around 247. It failed to get above 247. And then it started to break down all over again. So we're breaking back below this rising wedge. So definitely be careful. Obviously, if Nvidia drops, then SMH is going to drop, and vice versa. So I would definitely be careful here. This is just pure bearish right now. I would not be looking to get into calls right here. Again, SMH I think is going to head towards 230. It's just a matter of when, and that's really all I have. There's a gap all the way right here at around 232, 230 range. So I'll definitely be looking out for that move. Again, this double bottom has just failed. I mean, it failed miserably. You have a bottom here, you have your neckline here, and it just absolutely tumbled. I mean, this is not, this is, you don't want to see this when a double bottom happens. You just don't. You want to see a clean neckline break, which it did. It broke the neckline, but then whatever happened happened here. Okay, it's starting to roll over, right? So definitely don't like this move. This is something you do not want to see when it comes to bullish patterns. You don't want to see a bullish pattern start to roll over. And now we're just rolling back below the neckline. So I do think SMH and Nvidia are going to drop further down. It's just a matter of when. So definitely be careful. Keep an eye out on this. I could be wrong here, but right now, as long as we're below this rising wedge pattern, I just don't see a reason to be bullish in regards to Nvidia. And the reason why I say Nvidia because other semiconductors are just doing their own thing. We got AMD going up, we got MU slightly going up, SMCI is going ballistic. So yeah, but Nvidia, I definitely would not be looking to go bullish just yet. I will wait for 132, 130. That's what I will look out for, and then from there you will see what happens. Um, I guess we could look at coin real quick. I don't have much for coin. I mean, obviously, you just want to follow Bitcoin. What I will say is if coin gives up 270, that's a very bad sign. Okay, the coin can really start tumbling down if it gives up this area right here at around 270. And as you guys can see, I mean, you rejected here, rejection here, rejection, rejection. So I'm not making this stuff up. We get very illiquid in this area. So that's something you do not want to see in regards to coin because that means that obviously Bitcoin is going to drop much further down. And right now, I think Bitcoin is going to head towards 89K. Lowest it can go to is about 70K. I think that's a great buying opportunity. We'll see when we get there. And the reason why I say that is because that's where a fair value gap is that needs to be mitigated on Bitcoin. But we'll see. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have for this video, guys. Again, I don't want to make this too long. Tesla, I guess we can go over real quick. Oh, this is not Tesla. That's TSM. What? Man, definitely need my glasses. So Tesla. All right, so Tesla. So this is very interesting in regards to Tesla. Tesla looks like it wants to head further down. Um, this guy right here, I'm not liking this. Okay, this is a huge bearish engulfing candle, but not only that, but it's breaking trend right now. So this is a sign that Tesla may head much further down. I mean, you rejected here, you rejected here, and what started as a dark cloud cover just turned into a complete engulfing candle. So I will watch Tesla towards 320. I definitely think it can head towards there. It's breaking trend. I mean, it's pretty much below this trend, so that is not a good sign in regards to Tesla. But other than that, that's all I have for this video, guys. Hopefully, you got something out of it. If you agree, let me know in the comments below. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Just always keep it respectful. And Discord link is in the description below if you want to see my trades for the rest of the week, our trades for the rest of the week. Really appreciate the support. Our Discord is just really growing. Really enjoying the community. Everyone's enjoying it. It's not a huge community or anything, but it's getting somewhere. Okay, you gotta crawl before you run. So, other than that, that's all I have. Until the next video, traders. You have a good one. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.